Hmm. Mm-mm. We're going to go ahead and get started in about 30 seconds. Mhm. Hello and welcome to Retire Smart's Facebook Live presentation on Social Security is the topic today. My name is Steve Sexton. I'm a financial advisor and consultant, and I want to welcome you to this Facebook Live event. We'll be focusing on Social Security. A couple things I want to go through up front. One, the focus of this webinar is to give you a great appreciation of all the things you need to consider when you're looking at making that Social Security claiming decision. With the information you receive here today, my hope is that you'll be able to have a better handle on Social Security, especially moving into this new world of what's going on and how to help you maximize that in retirement. Now, because there's many people on this call with different varied backgrounds, experiences, knowledge, and so on, Retire Smart has asked me to provide a discovery call to help you apply the information that we provide for you today in a 15-minute discovery call. Might go 20, might go 30, depending on the questions you have. It's just our way and my way of giving back. So let's go ahead and get started in talking about Social Security. First thing, one of the big things that we've had a lot of questions on is, hey, what's going to happen to Social Security? We've had people out of, 33 million people out of work for the last couple of months. What's going on? Okay, so the Social Security Trust Fund, which is called the Old Age and Survivors Insurance Trust Fund, okay, and that's what pays your Social Security, has indicated that it's able to pay all the Social Security benefits all the way through 2034. Now, after 2034, it would only have approximately the ability to pay 76% of those benefits, which means if nothing is done by Congress and the Senate to shore up Social Security, we're all expecting to have a decrease in our Social Security benefits by about 24, 25%. Now, that's as of the 2019 report. According to Social Security, they have not had an opportunity to understand the potential effects of what's happened with COVID-19. You've got to remember, 33 million people were unemployed. They might have receiving unemployment, but they're not paying into Social Security. So it remains to be seen what effect that will have. Okay, so a couple things. If you're looking to receive Social Security, you must have at least at least 40 quarters that you have worked throughout your lifetime that you paid into Social Security, or paid Social Security taxes for a period of 10 years. If you're married and your spouse is from another country, they come here and you know what, they haven't paid much into Social Security, they'll be entitled to a spousal benefit. Okay, so let's go on to some of the big question that goes along with Social Security, which is, hey, how do I determine my full retirement age? Okay, so this is the time to pull out the pencils and start writing things down. So if you were born later than 1960, your full retirement age is 67. You should want to write that down. If you're between the ages of 55 and 59, your full retirement age is going to range from 66 and 2 months all the way to 66 and 10 months. If it's before that, its full retirement age is 66. Okay, so let's move the page. Now, there's three main options for collecting your Social Security. If you choose to select your Social Security benefits early, you can start as early age as 62. Now you have to keep in mind that you'll receive up to 30% less than what you would have received if you started collecting them at full retirement age. Okay. Now, if you decide you're going to start collecting your benefits early, there are some trade-offs, and we will go into this a little bit later. Now, collecting Social Security, you can collect it at full retirement age, which means you'll receive 100% of your benefits. Now, if you decide to collect your Social Security benefits, say at 67, 68, 69, you'll receive what's called delayed retirement credits. And for each month you receive those credits, your Social Security payment's going to go up and up and up. So it'll increase at about 8% annually. It maxes out at 32%, and you can only receive delayed retirement credits until you hit the age of 70. After that, you can't receive any more. So we're going to move on. Now, this is a schedule of payments as it relates to Social Security. So if you take a look at the black line in the middle, age 66, $1,000 benefit. If you start collecting at 62, $750 benefit. If you're collecting benefits at 69, it's $1,240 in benefits. The important point here is you want to start taking a look at how this will impact your other assets in retirement. For example, you have personal savings. You're going to want to make sure that personal savings complements what you receive from your Social Security. And if you're lucky enough to receive a pension, that as well. So there's other considerations that you want to take a look at. Now, when we look at longevity, now a lot of people think longevity is the main consideration with Social Security. And quite frankly, if I knew how old all of you are on this webinar are going to live, I probably wouldn't be doing the webinar. But we all know that how long we expect to live plays an important role when we file our Social Security benefits. The important thing to know is you want to consider more factors, and we'll get in those into a little bit. Now, one of the reasons why we're doing this is I want to make sure hardworking people like you do get the most out of your Social Security. So when you take a look at this break-even analysis, you say, hey, when's the best time to take that? And you might say, for example, you know what? I'm going to get those delayed retirement credits and not take my Social Security at the age of 66, but take it at 70. So if I'm not working, I have to backfill my income from my retirement assets or other assets to fill that until I hit the retirement benefit that I'm looking for. Now, for some people, that's the right decision. For others, it might not be. The big thing here to understand is by making a prudent Social Security claiming decision could mean 1,000, 20,000, 30,000. For example, one client, she was 66 years old. Her husband was 63. She was receiving less than half of what he would have received at full retirement, but was going to wait until she was almost 70 years old to take her Social Security because she wanted to get a spousal benefit. But because she didn't understand that she could take her Social Security benefits at that time and get $800 a month, and then when her husband got Social Security, she then could file for a spousal benefit and get an additional $500 per month. So for her and for them, that was a $30,000 decision to wait until she turned 70. So it would have made a lot more. I'll show you an example at the end how waiting could have cost somebody $100,000. So a couple other points. Most people don't know this, but the average Social Security benefit for 2020 is $1,503. Now, the maximum Social Security benefit at full retirement age for 2020 is $3,011. Obviously, with the disparity between the two numbers, we have a lot of people filing for Social Security early. Now, for some, it might be the right decision, but for others, they might not have taken all the time in the world to take a look at all the pros and cons before making that decision. Okay. Again, if you have unique situations and would like to get some help or just understand how to maximize this for your situation, such as considering age, when you plan to retire, retirement assets, expenses, all those things to consider so you can maximize it to make sure your Social Security and retirement income lasts as long as you do, hey, you can always sign up for the discovery call. Again, if you're interested in that, it's on the Retirement Smart website. It's just the Retirement Smart Discovery Call. Okay, so now let's take a look at spousal benefits. I would like to bring everybody's attention to this word. It's called individual earnings records. Now, what you want to do is you want to go to ssa.gov. That's the Social Security Administration website. You want to set up your own little account. In there, you could see your Social Security benefits. If you take a look at page 3, which is your earnings record, it will list every single year that you contributed or parts of your earnings to Social Security or your Social Security income. And as a result, that's what's going to create your Social Security benefit. Now, if those numbers are incorrect, you can end up with a lower benefit. So the way you do that, if you think it's incorrect, you want to call the number in the paragraph just below your earnings record, and they'll correct it for you. Again, you're going to have to correct that, get that corrected on your own. But I did have one gentleman that Social Security had it wrong, or they left out 10, and it made about a $500 per month difference in his Social Security benefit after he got it corrected. Now, when it comes to spousal benefits, what's going to happen is they're going to take a look at your earnings records. If at full retirement age, your earning records indicate that you'll have a benefit that's more than 50% of your spouse's benefit at full retirement, your spousal benefit will be based off your earning records. Now, if your earning record indicate that you will earn less than 50% of your spouse's benefit full retirement, you will then receive a spousal benefit based off your spouse's or 50% of your spouse's full retirement benefit. Couple things here. Your spouse must be receiving their Social Security benefits before you can receive a spousal benefit. If you are deciding to take on delayed retirement credits, they will do your spousal benefit no good because it's only based off your spouse's benefit. Now, for all the married couples on the call here, please take a look at this table here. What it does indicate is, hey, if my spouse is 66, okay, and my spousal's benefit, if I was 66, is $500. You could see up here, if I take it at 62, it would be $350. So you remember I talked about that 30% reduction, up to 30% reduction based off full retirement benefits? Yeah, that applies here for the spousal benefit if you're taking it before the age of 62. A couple other things. If you're married, and let's say your husband receives $1,000 and you receive $500, and your husband passes away, what will happen is the surviving spouse will receive the higher of the two Social Securities. So what will happen is the surviving spouse will receive $1,000 in Social Security benefits. Now, they're going to have to use other assets to make up the difference for that. Make sense? Okay. So let's go ahead and move on. But before we move on, I want to add a few other things. There are people on this call that likely have a pension. Pensions are wonderful. Be grateful if you have one. But here's how it works. If you work for a company where on your pay stub you did not pay into Social Security, it will likely mean that you'll be subject to the windfall provision, which means if you have not paid in to Social Security for the equivalent of 30 years, you'll be receiving a windfall benefit. So that means if you paid in for 29 years to Social Security and another 20 years you didn't pay in because you paid into the pension, you're going to receive your pension and a windfall provision that maxes out at $550. If you worked for other companies and paid into Social Security for 30 years, 30 years is the big number, okay, you'll receive all your Social Security benefits plus your pension. The key here is to understand that. I've met with people who have had 28 years of working and paying into Social Security and then 20 some odd years of paying into a pension. And what they did before they took Social Security is they just went and worked a full-time job for 2 years so they could receive their full Social Security benefits. Now, for some people, that made a difference of almost $2,000 a month, others $1,500. So it's important to take a look at that if you're receiving a pension where you, again, are not paying into Social Security. So let's go into the next page. Working. This is a big thing. A lot of people retire, decide they want to go to work. The thing to understand is Social Security is going to take a look at any wages you receive. If you're receiving deferred compensation, that's considered there. If you have self-employment wages, bonuses, commissions, that's all calculated into your W-2 wages. Now, if you're receiving vacation pay under an income, annuities, interest, anything from an investments, it's not calculated here. So if you're getting W-2 wages or self-employed wages that exceed $18,240 and you selected your Social Security benefits early, for every $2 you earn over that, you lose $1 in Social Security benefits. Okay. Now, if you're 1 year, just 1 year away from full retirement age, you can earn $48,600. Now, for every $3 you earn over, you lose $1 in Social Security benefits. Now, basically, what are they saying? They're saying if you want that government check, that Social Security check, if you're under your full retirement age, you can't earn very much. But once you hit full retirement age, there's no earning limits, there's no benefit reductions, and you can pretty much earn what you like. Now, let's talk about Social Security benefits. Okay. So when we take a look at this, we see, hey, how are they being taxed? We first look at what's called provisional income. All right. How is that calculated? We look on our tax line, we look for the adjusted gross income. We want to add in non-taxable interest. What's non-taxable interest? That's interest that comes from municipal bonds that are federally and state tax-free, providing you live in the state where the bond is. And then you're adding half of your Social Security benefits. Now, if you're single and your provisional income's under $25,000, you'll pay no tax at all on your Social Security benefits. If you're single and that provisional income's between $25,000 and $34,000, you'll pay tax on up to 50% of your Social Security benefit. If you're single and your income's over $34,000 in retirement, you'll pay tax on up to 85% of your Social Security benefits. Now, if you're married and that provisional income's less than $32,000, hey, you're going to pay no tax on that Social Security benefits. If it's between 32 and 44, again, it's up to 50% of your Social Security benefits will be taxed. If you're married and filing jointly and your income's over 44, you'll pay tax on up to 85% of your Social Security benefits. Now, one of the things I want to point out here, this table, these numbers, those provisional income limits have been in effect since 1984, and they haven't been adjusted for cost of living allocation. Now, I know we've only been talking for a few minutes. I hope all this information is giving you a greater appreciation of all the things that you might need to consider when making a Social Security claiming decision. And just when you start taking a look at, hey, how does my in personal savings, that's your 401k, IRAs, all those things, how does that enhance or complement my Social Security, my pension, and those things? Now, what I'd like to do now is just take a little switch on my screen. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop up an illustration here for Social Security. This will give you a greater appreciation. It'll make it a little bit more real because now you're going to see an example of a situation. Okay. So again, let's take a look at this. We've got Bob and Jenny Smith. You can see the year birth is 1953 for Bob, 1956 for Jenny. You can see their full retirement ages, and you can see their Social Security benefits. Okay. So let's go on to the next page here. I'm going to just, so for example, if they file at the age of 67, so we have Bob, he's getting $3,003 per month. It's $36,000 a year. That's great. Jenny, of her earnings record, it created $929. Now, they're also going to increase the spousal benefit by another $234 to combining those together. So it's a little over $1,100. Okay. And that would end up being her spousal benefit. So when you take a look at this, we have annual income between the both of them of just about $40,000 just from Social Security. Now, if they add a pension for another 20 and they have investment income, they'll likely be in a position where 85% of this Social Security benefit will be taxed. So now what I'm going to do, this illustration doesn't calculate inflation, so these are just static numbers. But let's take a look at this. On Bob, we have a life expectancy here for Bob at 83. You know, I'm not looking to kill anybody off that's on this webinar, but I want to give an example here. Bob, hey, he's getting $3,003. If he passes away, let's take a look at what happens to Jenny. Okay, Jenny loses that $13,000 a year, but picks up Bob's. This is where it's important to do planning, especially from a retirement planning standpoint. If either of you walk out on life, there is going to be a reduction of income. What assets are you going to utilize to create an income to replace the missing income? Okay, so let's move down a little bit further and let's compare this to Bob waiting till the age of 70 and Jenny to the age of 70 to taking their Social Security. Now, let's remember one thing. If Bob took his benefits at the age of 67, that's $3,003 a month or $36,000 a year. If he waits till the age of 70, that's $108,000 that he has to give up. Okay. If we just subtract $303 from 3,671, okay, we have like a $668 difference or about an $8,000 per year difference. If we divide that by 108, we're looking at about 15 years before Bob breaks even. And if Bob passes away at 83, he's never going to break even. Secondly, Bob and Jenny are going to have to make up the difference of not taking the Social Security from their own investment assets. So if we think about this, we've got $13,000 a year for Jenny. We've got $36,000 a year for Bob. That's almost $40,000 a year for 4 years. Okay. We're looking at, what is it? Almost $160,000 between the both of them. So that's $160,000 they've got to take from the retirement assets to get Bob an extra $670 a month and to get Jenny another $100 a month. You want to take a look at how this affects the long-term assets because that $150,000 at 5% income could generate almost what, $9,000 a month or even grow to 3 or 4 times that over a 10 or 20-year period. I hope that makes sense and I hope it makes it more real. Here's the other thing that we want to take a look at. You look at this. Hey, if Bob passes away at 83, we have Jenny losing $17,000 a year. Okay, let's just round that up to $20,000. If you have an account that you're withdrawing 4% from, that account's going to need to have at least $400,000 there to support that income. This is one of the major reasons why it's very important to understand how Social Security fits into your retirement income, how is it impacted by taxes, risk, and things like that. Now, that concludes the portion of the presentation. What I'd like to do is just have a, whoops, sorry, I'm going to move something here. I'd like to answer any questions that people might have. So if you'd like, you can go to, we'll go to the questions and comments area. All righty. Okay, I've got, let's see, Sheila's watching from San Diego. Hi, Sheila. We have Quentin Andrews. How many supplemental disabilities can you receive? I'm not a government employee, no Social Security. Supplemental disability is typically an insurance policy. And as such, that would be up to the insurance company. Social Security disability is entirely separate from that, and they have their specific rules. So you're going to need to talk to Social Security because those individual situations are unique to you and your situation in order to find that out. Okay, let's see if we have any more questions. Thanks for tuning in there, Llewellyn. Welcome. Okay, and let's see. All right, so I'm going to wait a few minutes to see if anybody has any additional questions. I'd love to answer those. Okay. Again, if you feel your information is too graphic for the public and would like to discuss it in a discovery call, you can always go to the Retire Smart um, webpage and sign up on the Retire Smart discovery call. Okay. I'm going to wait a few minutes to see if we have any additional questions, and we'll get those answered, and well, other than that, we'll look forward to signing off. Okay. With that, I want to, well, I'll wait another minute or two here. And before you all leave, I would like to just say thank you so much to Retire Smart for having me part of this live stream to help educate people, to help them get the most out of their hard-earned money. I wish you all safety and health moving forward. We're still in weird times here in our country, and I wish you all the best. With that, I'm going to go ahead and end the live stream. I wish you all well. Bye-bye.